can go now to our next position, which is running back. And did you want to start this one off there with the top 5 running backs?
Yeah, I could start off. And so it's just funny, right? Because you did say the last like 4 or 5 years, things have definitely changed. Where running backs are obviously still could still get you a lot of points, and if you get the right guy, he could lead you to a championship. But with high volume receivers that we have these days, it's not a shoo-in for a running back to be top pick anymore. And so, yeah, I'll go through my list, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So I first got to go with year 3 running back. I know, last year he was, sorry, I'm looking at something real quick here. So last year, he, first of all, Iron Man, Bijan Robinson. He's played every game, both seasons that he's been in the league so far. Last year was a breakout year for him in terms of yards. So 1,456 yards compared to 976 the year before, 14 touchdowns. He does catch the ball from the backfield, which again is really important PPR. So he is my number 1 running back. Probably not going out on a limb there, although some may have the likes of a Barkley first. And so no, definitely can't disrespect Saquon Barkley any further. I am a little weary about the year that he had last year, because just data shows when a guy runs for 2,000 yards, he did run for 2,000 yards, right? Last year, that the following year, I think they averaged like 900 yards, something to that effect. I was looking at it, and which is pretty crazy. And so, we know he's had some injuries. He's been a little bit, even though like the last, looking at his last 4 years, 13 games, 16 games, 14 games, 16 games. So, I mean, he's been there, but just last year was dynamite, 2,005 yards. But I don't want to be the person that doesn't pick him again, and he, goes off for 1,500 yards, right? And 10 touchdowns. And so he is right there at my number 2. And then I will go for my number 3, just all-purpose back, Jahmyr Gibbs. I just think, he, again, talking about the Detroit, offense, he basically does everything for them, catches the ball, runs out of the backfield, super fast, right? Last year he played all 17 games, 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns. As I mentioned, does catch a bunch of balls. And so he is my number 3. Oh, man, this is kind of where it starts to get a little tough, but I'm going to have to go with the young fella with my number 4, Ashton Genty from the Las Vegas Raiders. Rookie running backs, and there was a time that rookie receivers you kind of wanted to wait for year 2, but rookie running backs could put up solid numbers. I think it's, Raiders are going to give him plenty of opportunity. What Pete Carroll did with Marshawn Lynch, right? And I kind of see it being very similar with that. And so I see a pretty good year, and definitely someone to consider as a top 5 running back. And then number 5, man, it's like, it's just so many different ways you can go, right? You got your Christian McCaffrey. I don't even want to put Jonathan Taylor there. Josh Jacobs, hell, he had a really good year. Devon A-Chain, right? He's just tremendous with catching balls, and he just puts up points. But I'm a little bit worried about his size and his injuries he has going right now. So I'm going to just have to go with Old Faithful, Baltimore Ravens, Derrick Henry. There's going to be a year that he falls off. Could be this year. but I'll be damned again if I'm not picking him again, because he had on the Ravens a dynamite year last year. They're going to be just as good. They're going to be just as explosive. He's going to get just as many opportunities with Lamar Jackson running that thing too. So that rounds out my top 5 running backs.
Okay. I like your list. I think we got more of the same with some interchangeable pieces here.
Yep.
But to me, unanimously, at my number 1 is Bijan. I mean, he hasn't missed a game at all, and him going from like 900 yards to 1,400 plus yards with 14 TDs was just pretty much I'm RB1. I'm the best running back in the game, or ready to be the best running back in the game. So yeah, that's definitely number 1 there. And then for me, where we kind of just changed a little bit is I got Jamar Gibbs there at number 2. He only really missed 2 games as a rookie for a hamstring issue, but he played all games last season. And to me, just being in that explosive offense that he has in Detroit, where they're just run heavy, and also obviously they pass and do a little bit of everything, I think he's just going to get to a point where he can easily. I mean, he had 1,400 yards and 16 TDs last year, right?
Crazy.
And he's going to receive the ball a little bit more than Bijan. So I think they're going to be neck and neck up there for fantasy points. I think those 2 are definitely top tier as far as running backs there. Now for my number 3 is kind of where we defer just a little bit. I got Ashton Genty as my number 3. I do have a rookie there. I understand that, but I know that Pete Carroll is the head coach. And I know that Marshawn Lynch with Pete Carroll was pretty damn successful. And if you ever watched Genty in college, this dude was a beast in college. I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody saw it. But he's so physical. I think that the Raiders are going to run the ball a lot. And I think he's going to have a hell of a year. And he'll probably at least top 8 to 10 touchdowns as a rookie, plus over 1,000 plus yards. So I think he'll be up there as the number 3 back there. And then for me, I put Saquon down at number 4. Now, over the last 4 years, he's been really relatively healthy, right? He had obviously the ACL tear in 2020 and missed 14 games that season. But since then, he's come back. He's had a lot of knick-knack injuries, kind of some ankle stuff, but is able to only miss a couple games per season. I love your point about having a 2,000-yard back. I didn't realize the next season they've only averaged 900 yards, which is freaking crazy. But it also shows you that the amount of load that they had that year, because, I mean, the amount of carries you have to get to 2,000 is so much on the body that chances are he could break down this year or he could have an injury. And so that's why I got him a little bit lower. I'm not going to take him out of my top 5 because that'd be pretty disrespectful. I think he's on an explosive offense like the Eagles. And so I got him at number 4. Now my number 5 is kind of where we really kind of get a little different here. I got Bucky Irving as my top 5 running back. Now, this guy, in my opinion, is ready to take that sophomore leap, kind of how Gibbs took his sophomore leap, kind of how Bijan took his sophomore leap. And I know that there's Rashard White. I know he's there. But that's the same thing saying for Gibbs. You knew Montgomery was there last year, and you knew he was going to get a bunch of carries. But in my opinion, having the offense that Tampa has is so explosive. Like, I feel Baker's going to have a great year too as well. And right now they're just down a couple receivers, so they're going to rely heavy on the running game, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I just think Bucky's going to have one of those years where he'll definitely be a top 5 running back. So Bucky is in my top 5 there. Eric, what do you say?
What the Bucky? Yeah, I mean he's definitely got like stud potential. I like Tampa's offense, so that's definitely a bit of a surprise. But I definitely had him in my top 8 or 9, so not too much of a surprise for me. But yeah, good list. There is a little worry about just the wear and tear of a Barkley. But as I said, like it's tough because he's going to get a lot of the same opportunity, and that's what it's all about. Same with Ashton and in Oakland, in Vegas, he's going to get a ton of opportunity, and so it is kind of if whoever's going to get the bulk of the carries, you got to really is really someone that you got to take a look at because there's not much else back there. Then there's no worry in terms of their production. Of course, if they stay healthy.
Yeah, 100%. Now, we do both have somebody out of our top 5, Eric. And who kind of would that be that I think that maybe a lot of people might have in their top 5 there?
Maybe CMC?
Yep, C-Mac. So my thing with Christian McCaffrey was that obviously he's had his injury history, and since he's kind of been with San Fran, it's been relatively pretty good up until last year. My problem is he had bilateral Achilles tendonitis, right? So not just one side, he had both sides. And when you have a tendonitis, which turns into like basically what we call like a tendinosis, that's degeneration of the tendon. And then he had a knee injury as well, which kind of put him out the rest of the season. So I just feel that, yes, he will get every opportunity to shine. And if he's healthy, he'll be a top 5 running back. There's no doubt about it. If you played a full season, you know what you're going to get out of C-Mac. I just don't foresee him being healthy the whole season. And I hope so. It's just one of those things where when you hear that, my first thought is I'm worried about his Achilles. And I don't want to see anything happen like that. I want him to be healthy and successful. But that's part of the reason why he is down on my rankings as far as the top running back.
Yeah, that's definitely a great insight. I think for a lot of us, it's just more like, all right, he's been injured. But just to hear now the severity of his injuries, and it could really factor in on things, and him playing a full 17, for example, and things of that nature. So you got to just err on the side of caution. Hopefully he has a healthy year, because if he's healthy, we know what he can do. But yeah, definitely great insight on that.
All right. So before we kind of get into the next position, which is quarterbacks, I just want to we got a little question here on a trade proposal, Eric. So we got Frizzell Fantasy asking in 12-man PPR, would you trade Aaron Jones and Pickens for Chase Brown? All right, I already answered that. That's a yes. But Eric, you can answer that as well. His receivers are Nico, Juan, Olave, Coleman. Running backs are Genty, Kamara, and Eckler. Eric, what do you think about that trade?
I like that Coleman, that's for sure. Yeah, that's a big yes. I think whenever you're trading a veteran running back technically for someone young with, again, a team with an explosive offense and definitely an opportunity, I think you got to go for it. Pickens, we'll see kind of what he does down there, down in where's he at? Dallas, right?
Yep.
He might. I don't know. I would say that's a big yes, knowing the rest of your squad and what you have. You got definitely pretty good, pretty solid team, especially it being a 12-man team. I wonder who your quarterback is, Freezy.
Yeah, let us know what your quarterback is, Freezy. All right, and then we got Rain with some respect, with a salute in terms of your list, with your running back list. So if you guys missed it, you're going to be able to check the replay with this or on the podcast. But again, like we always say, comment on the YouTube right now if you're watching this live. Please hit the subscribe button as well, because we will be having fantasy football talk. We'll be having football talk throughout the season. This is our football edition of the Hoops Rehab Show. So remember, we're obviously the Hoops Rehab Show. We talk about basketball, but we have now added football, and we are getting into fantasy football as well. So let's